How's it going? I hope everything is going well. In this video, I want to walk through some very important settings that you need to make sure that you have on inside of your Facebook ads if you want to be getting the cheapest costs, the highest quality leads, the best results, and the most opportunity for scale. These are a few very simple settings to make sure to have on. Somewhat standard to a degree, but some people will miss a few of them. Let's go over them right now and get right into it. So first things first, I'm going to go as if I'm making a new campaign here. And some of these settings could vary, so I may go through a few different options and a few different examples depending on what it is exactly that you're doing. I'm going to start with just a generic lead gen campaign first. Then I will do a sales campaign, so if you're trying to get purchases. And then lastly, I'm going to do an engagement campaign. So depending on what you really want to optimize for, feel free to skip around in the video. If you want to just go right to sales, go to that point. If you want to go to engagement, go to that point. If you want to see all three, that would be good as well. I think it'll serve you the best. So we'll go ahead and we'll create. And from that point, I'm kind of going to walk through, and I'm going to skip a few of the high level things. I'm just going to jump to the areas that are most important. Obviously, I would recommend starting off with an ad set budget. That's definitely an important setting when you're kind of launching an initial lead form campaign. After that point, we'll go ahead and we'll choose instant forms, and then I'll do the same thing for website as well, because a lot of the times they'll be pretty similar. No catalog settings, budget and whatnot is all good. And that brings me to my first setting here, which is this audience option. So a lot of people are kind of in the mix of, okay, should we have an Advantage Plus audience or should we turn it off and not do an Advantage Plus audience? I've had mixed kind of results with these where I can limit the audience a little bit more and tell Facebook, hey, listen, I don't want these things to be a suggestion. I want these to be a guideline depending on what demographics or detailed targeting interests or behaviors I put in here. I would recommend if you're launching something for the first time, or maybe it's a newer campaign where you're looking for the best optimization, keep it a little bit broad and have the algorithm kind of search a little bit outside of for you. Now, if you've been dealing with bad quality leads, not getting the best leads, maybe even high CPMs in some cases, I would recommend limiting the reach of your ads as well and switching to this setup. That way you can give Facebook a little bit more of a tighter leash when it comes to who you're targeting and who you're not. So that's the first thing. Next important setting is placements. And actually right below the placements, you can hit the settings section and you can actually customize things a lot further than what a lot of people realize. You can first off, you can target people that only have iOS or only have Android devices. Super useful setting later on down the road. On top of that, you can only hit people as well when they're connected to Wi-Fi, which is super interesting. Most of the time, that's going to be at a place where people are kind of familiar with or they're often, or they're there for an extended period of time. So maybe they're traveling and they're at a hotel for a while, they're going to connect to the Wi-Fi. Maybe they're at home, obviously, connecting to Wi-Fi, work, office, etc. It's a very interesting setting, and it's a very useful one to kind of be aware of. On top of that, when we actually go into the placements, if I hide this, these are account controls. Let me drop down here as well. To platforms, you can obviously choose and customize where you want placements to be showing up or where you want them to be hidden from. This is something that I think a lot of people miss out on. I find a lot of money being wasted on apps and sites, as well as audience network. So if you're noticing that like your friends or your family are getting a lot of your ads, and you don't necessarily want that all the time because it's kind of wasteful, because they may not buy your stuff, turn off audience network, dial in just on Facebook and Instagram, potentially Threads if you're using an objective that kind of works for that. Flip off messages and apps and sites, and maybe even search results. I found in some cases just dialing in on Facebook and Instagram stories crushes it. Same with just doing feeds and stories and reels. A lot of people skip over this. I notice when they're running through their ad accounts for me, they don't really talk to me about that. It's just, oh yeah, it's just automatic placements. So keep an eye on that. Moving on from the ad set level, going to the ad level. Now for instant forms, this is for both leads and not leads. A very, very important piece here is to make sure where the destination is going. It doesn't look like it's showing it here, so I'll just do website. First off, make sure that you are only choosing website, because if you choose website in instant form, it's going to do this like half of each thing, and it's not going to give you the best results. And that's where this setting comes into play, these browser add-ons. A lot of the times, what I've seen in a lot of people's accounts, and they don't even realize it, is they'll make a ad going to a website, and these browser add-ons will automatically be enabled. So there'll be like an instant form that's added without them even knowing, when their main objective is to send someone to a website. So make sure that those are off, make sure that you're not kind of experiencing any weirdness with those browser add-ons, and make sure that that's in good shape. Outside of that, as far as the lead gen stuff, that's just about everything that you need to kind of keep an eye out for and be aware of. Let's go to the sales one next. I don't know if there's going to be a ton here, but we'll get right into it. Okay, so over here on the ads when you're optimizing for a purchase, not too much else. A big thing to be aware of here that I'd recommend taking a look at is when you do drive people to a spot to purchase, and I'll actually go on a campaign where I am optimizing for a purchase already. Turning off those AI options is actually really, really important. So if you're down here to this Advantage Plus Creative and you'll see these enhancements, you can leave these on if you have a proven ad, like something that's working and you want to optimize it a little bit and let Facebook do its thing. Great. However, what I would recommend almost always turning off is turning off catalog items. Because for example, let's say you are sending people to a Shopify store. This can be really helpful, but a lot of the times it gets people to just browse and not really actually take any action. Whereas when you get someone to click, you're getting them to make a micro commitment, commit to going to the next page, and actually purchasing. Test it for yourself to see, but I've found that all these AI optimizations, especially when you're trying to figure out what works, and especially when you're trying to scale, can just create more uncertainty and more just inconsistency with your results. So keep an eye on that. I would recommend turning these off. This definitely does go across the board for almost all the ad settings, regardless of what you're optimizing for. But for purchases specifically, keeping an eye on those catalogs, especially if you're doing like Shopify or something like that, or you have a catalog, is important to keep an eye of. So make sure you check that out. Now, last but not least is going to be engagement. So let's say you're running DM ads, or you're trying to get people to message you or anything like that, sell by chat. These kind of are all applicable to those kinds of objectives. First things first is just understanding the conversion location. So depending on where you want people to go, if you want people to DM you, if you want people to engage in your ad, make sure you're choosing the right thing here. And then make sure you're only selecting the platform where you want people to go to. I see a lot of the times people will have both of these selected if we're doing like a sell by chat or a DM campaign. I'd recommend picking one and then doing like a separate ad set or even a separate campaign for Facebook or a separate campaign for Instagram, whatever it is. Also make sure you're optimizing for conversations and not optimizing for link clicks. The last important thing here is a really big missed opportunity is in the message template. This is a spot where every single person that is about to message you will see this certain thing. So for example, if you want to qualify someone and you're qualifying people in the ad, if you can put something in here to qualify people a little bit more, this is a really easy spot to do it because almost everyone that clicks is almost guaranteed to see or read this. So this is a really easy thing to customize, build it, write it with intent so you know that you can qualify people a little bit further. And that's pretty much it. All those settings are really important and useful. If you want more tips and tricks like this, check out the Predictable Profits Mastermind. We go over playbooks, over different strategies and different funnels that you can set up, free resources, guides, and free ad audits so we can check out your ad account, see what's working, see what's not, and give you totally free advice that's unfiltered and doesn't have any strings attached. I hope you enjoyed this video, and I'll see you in the next one.